Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for January the 3rd through the 9th, 2022. Happy New Year to everyone, and I wish you and pray for you that the angels surround you with unconditional love in this new year, and that you allow the angels to help you to focus on the fullness, as they keep writing the word lack, to focus on the fullness of desires and hopes that fills your heart, that you not allow yourself to be focused so much on what's missing, what's lacking, or that you do not no longer choose to feed these energies as well as the energies of fear. And in this 2022, this is a year of choice. It's the Lover's card. And the Lovers at its highest point is about choice. It is about integration. So this is a year where when we think about two lovers coming together, we think of this energy of merging, integrating, right? It's also the number is a vibration of cooperation, things coming together, right? Harmony, community. So the impact of our choices can bring us together. It can bring you together. It can help you to merge more with your higher self, or your I am presence. And they just saw the word Stargate. So it can help you to access those portals of light that connect you with the higher wisdom of the universe and throughout the universe, where those beings are assisting us and helping us through this ascension process. So there's a lot. Community can be created on so many levels. Cooperation throughout, just within ourselves, within our communities, within our nations, within the world, within the universe, and different star systems of the universe. This is what this whole planetary alignment is all about. It's about the planet Earth and all of her inhabitants, and the Earth itself, because what we've created has held the Earth back out of alignment with the rest of the universe. And our ascension process, the entire universe is assisting us to get back into alignment, to get off the wheel of karma and back on the spiral of evolution. So it's a very important year, a very, very important year. And so very important that we do honor our free will, our ability to make choices, and with the Lover's card, to make those choices with the heart. Let your heart, which is your gateway, your gateway, your stargate to your I am presence. And your I am presence is another stargate to source and all the angelic realms and other realms and dimensions of beings of higher consciousness and light. And when we say higher light, that literally means they hold a higher frequency of light as we do, but we are made of that light essence within this physical dimension. And that's why we have free will, because our physical being and our spiritual light live in two worlds. And this gives us choice. But it's about what we do with those choices as we integrate. We learn about, see, we're here to learn through the human experience. We're here to gain wisdom and enlightenment. And so we're integrating these two worlds together. This is something not being done anywhere else in the universe, where we're integrating. So what the life we live here, as Abraham has said so many times, is leading edge in that way, because it's like the Reese's Pieces, we're bringing two things together and creating a whole new dynamic of light potential. All right, so before I get any further, I just want to welcome everybody again, and just remind you this month that this will be the last month for the special offer that I've had during the pandemic. It was my $77 half-hour reading. I was extending it for 1 full hour. As many people know, I really go over that. It's about, within reason, working and following the guidance of the angels and the energy when it's complete. So the thing is that you can go to my webpage, theangelschool.com, and just click on the half-hour reading as is, and within 24 hours on the first business day, I will send you a confirmation email noting that special offer for the month of January. Also, I will continue the daily card messages this week as well. All right. Okay. So let's tune in. And first of all, I'm also working with the new Archangel Oracle by Diana Cooper. And it's just called Archangel Oracle Cards by Diana Cooper. There are 44 archangels that so out of the 15 that we've been working with, there are many more. I don't know if it's 44 or 45, I can't see in the box, but anyway, it was a lot of angels. And so this morning I was guided strongly to start. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. But I did not get a chance to work with all of them in the year myself. I noticed that with any deck, there's just certain cards that never come up for you. So some of them I might be introduced to with you. I didn't really study them. I just worked with them. And so anyway, I have the guidebook if it's necessary to share additional information with you. All right, but you can, I will put a link in the description area. Also, you can find my website links and other social media links as well below the video, just in case you're interested in contacting me, or having a reading with me, or finding about this deck and the other deck that I'm using as well. All right, so let's just take a moment to really open our hearts and be aware of the light that is shining brilliantly there. And they show me a crown. And you might just see within that light, at the center of that light, a crown of gold. And this represents your spiritual authority. So this goes back to this, and also the writing sage, which for me is wisdom. That your soul not only has authority, but it also has wisdom. So this authority is backed by this wisdom. This is where it comes from. So it's not about just power, right? But it's about, and not about power that I can dominate with, or prowess, but it's about wisdom. It's about love. And despite sometimes how we feel, when you take the time to really center within your heart, you access that power, this kind of power, this love, your true spiritual power. And in the last week or two, but I think the last week, in my daily meditations, I woke up one day. I don't know if I woke up or all of a sudden I just felt a lot of anxiety. Not that it's not something I don't have, but it's not something that I see it, feel it all the time, right? I do have it. Everybody has it, but it's not chronic. And what all of a sudden I went searching intuitively for my my heart center, the core of my being. I would hate to say the eye of the storm, but that's kind of what I was looking for, right? And when I did, it was like it dropped open, because we are clenching our heart energy so much that we don't even realize it. We're looking for so many things to be fulfilled, so many desires. There's so much that we feel like we're waiting for. And yet we don't recognize that this stargate in our heart chakra, the one leading to our soul, leading to that, allowing for that integration, manifestation, to merge with our desires, our will, free will, that we're holding that gateway tightly closed. One of the reasons is because we're not breathing. Our breathing is shallow. And when our breathing is shallow, we're cutting off information. And they're writing supposed to. The information we're supposed to be receiving. And I feel like what they're trying to tell me and you is that the universe is always channeling, the word they just wrote, channeling the changes that, not that you have to make, that are available to you if you would choose. And when we don't breathe, we hold, then we clench the stargate of our souls, and to our I am presence, where that information is not allowed to make sense. It's not allowed to integrate. And so therefore you're making assumptions, basically. which is what your fear is. Your fear is assumptions because you've cut yourself off, you've clinched off yourself from the channel of information that the universe brings to you through your deep breath. The assignments that are appropriate for you, it's like they bring your daily agenda to you through the breath. It's like having a personal assistant constantly updating you, constantly standing there introducing you to the person that you're meeting. You remember in The Devil Wears Prada, and she has the woman just standing there telling her all the information. That's what she wanted to memorize that book for. The universe naturally does this for you, but it gives you not the information that your ego tells you, which is the other side that you're listening to most of the time, where you look at somebody and feel suspicious and you have these judgments about them. If you were breathing, you would be getting this channel and you would receive the information, the true introduction of this divine soul in front of you, who may be hurt and closed off in their own pain, but you would still know who they are. And on some level, you would have access to them and they would become vulnerable to you than they would any others. And when I did, the anxiety immediately stopped and the love gushed forth. And I must tell you, it's because it's a bad habit we have. It was almost like fleeting, like you get in there, it open and then it closed, because as soon as you recognize that you were open, close. But when I was there, I was affirming, because that's what I felt. I really felt in that clear moment, I am loved. Like it made me want to cry, because it was like all the other times I spend outside of that, I don't feel it. We know it, but we don't feel it. And the reason why maybe we can't tell people we love them instead of fighting with them, we can't tell them that we love them instead of judging them or being afraid of them or being intimidated by them, it's because we're afraid of being vulnerable. But that vulnerability, that thing that you shame yourself for, or that everyone else mirrors the shame and condemnation about you being vulnerable, is because that stargate to the soul, to the I am presence, to source, we're all afraid of being open to God, to the universe, to our angels, to our I am presence, to our authentic self, and all of those gifts, every desire that we want, we're afraid of being vulnerable to it. We're afraid that we might not be. And the reason that I kept feeling that clenching is around it was because we're afraid of the success that already exists. So in that moment when I realized I am loved, every desire, every success, goal, ambition, in that love, you could feel it is already fulfilled. There is no waiting. There's just only believing, only being vulnerable, willing to be vulnerable to it all. And none of that in our society, according to our ego, is strength. It's weakness, when it actually is strength. And if you allow it to grow, when I kept affirming, I am loved, it grew, it expanded. And that was scary. But we have to practice, maybe this is the core of a spiritual practice, is being vulnerable to this love. Because great things are unfolding within us. And so it's not about waiting, but it's about showing up to the party, because the party's already happening. All right, so let's take a look. You can see this card is the Fool card, and these first two cards fell, one on the floor, face down, and this one face up. This landed first, so I put this first, and the one that was on the floor, I put this second. And it's in reverse. And when, this is the Hangman's Whirl, to give us, when a card is in reverse, to give us a different perspective. It's a timeout, right? It would be ideal if our prisons weren't there to punish, but was there to give people a time out to get a different perspective. And if it was flooded with healers, right? To do that. And if we did this kind of time out where we helped heal and repair, help people become vulnerable, to open their hearts and to feel that they are loved, and to have one unconditionally mirroring that to them, I wonder what kind of world we'd have, huh? All right, so let's take a look at the Archangel Oracle. And this is the Archangel Mariel, and he's from the star system of Orion, okay? And this Archangel Mariel also works with the soul star chakra. So above your crown chakra, the first chakra to the back is the only one that's out of alignment, is the causal chakra, which looks like a moon. And so the unicorns and the connection to the angelic realms. And then the next one above, directly above in alignment with all the other chakras, would be the soul star chakra. And the soul star chakra kind of has a magenta and a violet flame. The magenta, I think, is on top, and the violet flame is on the bottom. So it has two archangels. Archangel Zadkiel works with the violet flame aspect, and Archangel Mariel, the magenta. And the soul star chakra, is where you have access to all of the wisdom of your soul throughout all lifetimes. And to connect in with Archangel Mariel or the magenta dragons is an opportunity for you to tap into your soul's wisdom and memories, the gifts and your talents, your purpose. So this is an opportunity for you to do that. And he has this magenta energy, and he has this electric blue energy as well. Now the card message says, manifest for the highest good, work with pure love. And this is a reminder for us, right? Because this year of choice, and that we have to make sure that our manifestations are for the highest good. That our manifestations will serve others, will inspire others. And that we have to make sure that we're connecting in with this love, this pure love, meaning we need to be vulnerable to this real crown of authority, this true power. We have to be vulnerable to it. And then we will know that we're aligning with this channel of purity, and that our desires and our goals, then we have to be willing to be vulnerable to the highest manifestation. It's already there. You don't have to get there. You just have to be vulnerable to what it is going to bring, the gifts it's going to bring to you and to those you're going to serve with those gifts and talents. All right, so let's take a look. Now, the card of the Fool in reverse. So the Fool is all about new beginnings, taking that leap of faith. It's the potential, right? And what this is saying is that you are hesitant in some way, that you are afraid of the risk. You're afraid of, because if one thing the Fool is vulnerability. He's exposed in every way. He's not caring or worrying because he's focused on the incredible guidance of his heart. And yeah, you're going to look foolish to everybody else. It's not going to make sense. But he's really entrenched in his heart's messages. And he doesn't have anxiety. There's a lot of things around him that's, treacherous. And yet he has no anxiety about it because he is immersed, fully integrated in the hopes and promise of his heart. And he has complete trust. So this means that these are the things that you want to work on. You don't have to work on them all at once, but you need to identify what is the thing that concerns you the most about whatever it is that is triggering this. And whether it's some form of change they're writing. And I was going to say whether it's a change that has been precipitated by your actions or it has been precipitated by an event, which means you think that this is happening to you forcefully. And in a way, the universe and your I am presence, which is you, is giving you that nudge. But they know, and you're not at fault for being human and reacting from a place of fear or lack or worry. They know this. They knew that you were going to behave that way. That's why they did it. Because they knew that this particular dynamic or event would potentially provoke a number of options, choices, or lessons that you would need to move into in order to heal, in order to prosper. So don't fight this opportunity. Be open to it. Trust that your soul's wisdom is going to come through. It's going to be activated. So this situation of change that is threatening to you is meant to provoke your soul's wisdom. And that's what Archangel Mariel is assisting you with. And with the breath and connecting in and being vulnerable, that information, that channel of information will automatically, it is already there. It came in preparation. It's already there, but you are not there. You are not open to it because you're focused on your fears. You're focused on what you're lacking. And therefore, you're not breathing fully. And you're not vulnerable to the lesson, the wisdom that is being perpetuated through this event in your life. It is an orchestrated one. It is purposeful. Therefore, you have to be purposeful in acknowledging the lesson, what you need to learn, what you need to heal, and how you need to grow. And then you will be able to see this difficult transition for the opportunity that it is. And that will inspire you. You feel the openness in your heart when I just said that? That your heart naturally expands. And when it does not want to contract. It wants to continue. And that is when that is the moment you are no longer who you were before. And you can't go back. You'll never contract to that. Your contraction now will be to this point, not to that. And this will then feel small because you've outgrown it. Oh, isn't that amazing? Why our anxiety moments feel so small? Because we've outgrown another moment. We've outgrown another expansion period. Our clothes, it's like when you were growing up as a child, you would grow naturally, so all of a sudden you just bought it, but darn, it's too small already, right? And that's what these times are going to feel like. When we were children, when you would grow so fast that you would grow out of the things and have to replace them. And so this is the case here. All right. So allow those gifts to come through, because that's what you're afraid of. And that's what causes you to grow, expand, but eventually change very rapidly and have to grow and expand again. You will outgrow those things again. All right. Now we have the High Priestess. And this card has so much light. You can barely see the symbols around it, but she's just flooded. And, here she's that representation of that channel that they've been talking about. And these two cards fell together. Remember I said that? So what they want you to do is they want you to slow down. Meaning, in your mind is telling me, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. If I don't do this, this is going to happen. If I don't do this, this is going to happen. If I don't do this, this is going to happen. No, slow down and breathe. Be. Get your channel flowing. Get that light frequency. Connect in with that source frequency. The angelic dimensions. You can channel these frequencies. And yes, we live in a 3 dimension. So you could over circuit just like in physical world with electricity. So they step it down so that you get the core essence without blowing out your circuitry in the 3-dimensional framework. But we have ascended into our 5th dimensional frequencies. This is why some changes are happening physically with your body, especially if you've been experiencing dietary reactions, let's put it that way, which means your body's like, not having any more of that, because that's not helping me, my 5th dimensional body, right? And your crystalline light body is able now to really to channel these circuits of frequency. So certain foods, the input now has to match the output. And you get where I'm going with that, right? Okay. All right, let's take a look at the card for the end of the week. If you watched last week's video, and I would encourage you to do so, go back if you're new to my channel, so that you understand the discussion about this balance, input, output, on multiple dimensions of our own essence within our physical body. Input and output has to be balanced. The food that you put needs to match the output of energy. that you're going to need, etc. So watch that. All right, now they're talking about anxiety. Here we have the 9 of air. But this angel here, all the birds, all the voices, right? But when she expands her wings, when she's vulnerable, the love. This is a deck that just looks like, what are you talking about? You have none of the symbolism. But when you read with decks, that's why I never criticize that deck. I never throw my decks out. I wait for the time that I'm guided to use them. And that's when I'm in the right state of mind to work with them. But when she spreads her wings, that's being vulnerable to all of that. And what you'll discover, the assumption when we're not breathing, is that they were, our fears are like demons. I don't believe in them, but many people do. So, but the idea is, I'm talking more figuratively here, not literally. You know, when we make assumptions, the guidance, the channel in the three-dimensional mind, the channel of source is like our demons. It's because you closed your heart off and you hear these strange, spooky sounds. And I'm still speaking figuratively, right? But when we open our hearts, we hear them as opportunity. Even if they are provoking us, we still hear their message as opportunity. So this is telling you, when you slow down, when you just focus on channeling this light, this love through yourself, when you breathe, you stop living in a world of assumptions and start living in a world, a mindset, fifth dimensional, of knowing, three-dimensional assumptions. And this is how, you now can raise the frequency of your choices in this 2022 to really create this, to manifest this reality of love, pure love, is by switching. And they just showed us how to do it. Assumption, right, versus knowing. The fifth dimensional mind set is knowing. The three-dimensional is assumption. And you know when you're making assumptions by the signal of anxiety. That's what it's for. It means nothing else. It's just to tell you that you're living a three-dimensional mind and all your choices are coming from that at that moment. Love lets you know that you now are in the fifth dimensional mind, that power, that authority, and you have knowing. And knowing gives you, what they say, knowledge is power. And having that knowledge, having that knowing, you can choose what's in the highest good and interest. You can choose the higher goals that bring peace, not more confusion, not more worry and anxiety in your world. They keep writing the word star seeds, and this is going to be a year for many star seeds to awaken. And star seeds are souls that have incarnated from other universes with this incredible wisdom, authority, crown. And most of us are. I don't think there are very many people here who are not. So there's a whole nother thing on that. We could talk about that another time, but just be aware that this is now, the Archangel Mariel, it's a time to help you to open to this mastery of wisdom that you have brought to the planet to help it elevate in consciousness. So we have to stop making assumptions ourselves. And that means we have to stop closing off the stargate to our hearts and our I am presence. Because we eclipse that wisdom in our soul star chakra. So this week, work with your soul star chakra and Archangel Mariel. Ask him to infuse it with the ascension light to keep it clear so that you can access the compassion in your heart that will allow you to receive this wisdom. And you can just sit and meditate, and just with the intention of connecting in with your soul's wisdom and the talents and gifts that you need. And you can call upon them for yourself as well for this moment in your life and for the greater good of humanity at this time, in the ways that you can be of service within your home, within your community, within your nation, within the world and the universe. So I wish you an unconditionally loving week and a beautiful start to the new year of compassionate choices. God bless you.